Other council member Steve Hill is traveling on business. Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Valerie Kennedy, Mayor Pro Tem Jeff Mangum, Councilmember Bill Castleman, our town attorney Terry Welch, our town secretary Sheila Morales, our town administrator Donna Welch, and Mayor Sue Tamo. If you'll stand please for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
And for public input, I hope I have these in the right order. They got kind of scrambled. Mitch Dorning, if you'll go first. And following Mitch will be Kevin Walls. And following Kevin will be Nancy Henry. No?
He's supposed to be before me.
Okay. Ted Stransky?
And then
And then Judy?
Yeah, and then him.
Okay. I'm sorry, we got scrambled. Go ahead.
Sure. So the topic is drainage. I live at 980 Great Myrtle Lane. My name is Mitch Dornick. So on January 9th of 2017, I hosted at my residence representatives from Half and Associates, the County of Denton, City of Lantana, and the City of Copper Canyon to share with them visibly the impact that the drainage out of the lake, the private pond, the lake that we live on, was causing across the property, which drains out into Poindexter Creek. And so, my understanding is Half Associates went back then and talked to the city, and what they found was that when there's a retention pond that's off of Copper Canyon Road, that retention pond, the original plans called for a weir to be associated, which is a water retention device, that had, not been installed even though it was in the plans. I got a letter June 19th that was confirmed and that the device would be installed. It was done a couple of months later. I'm here to tell you that the drainage is probably worse, not better, since that was done. I brought that to folks' attention, all the appropriate folks since then. And so fast forward 2 years and 5 days later, right, the issue is still not resolved. I commissioned my own study, and so I'll just share a paragraph or a sentence that came out of the study that I just got a copy of. The timing of this ditch erosion aligns with the construction of portions of Lantana upstream of this pond. This indicates the change in the stormwater flow has occurred, at least in part, due to the upstream Lantana subdivisions, which, by the way, I'm not an engineer, but it's been my assertion from the beginning. It's pretty clear where it's coming from. Drainage design plans for all portions of Lantana that drain into this pond should be checked for accuracy. Again, that's not me. That's a professional whose study I commissioned. That's all. Thank you.
Did you share that with Brian?
I am not sure if anyone did.
Okay, if you would please. And next, Kevin Walls.
Hello, my name is Kevin Walls. I reside at 760 Knoll Road, Copper Canyon. I'd like to wish everyone a Happy New Year from my family to yours. I will be discussing a topic of great importance, stormwater mismanagement. On October 8, 2012, our community leadership enacted a stormwater management design manual. The core goals of this manual are published on page 67 of said manual as follows. Goals and objectives of Town of Copper Canyon Stormwater Management Program. Establish and implement drainage policy and criteria so that new development does not create an increase in flooding problems, cause erosion or pollute downstream water bodies. Facilitate a continuation of comprehensive watershed planning that promotes orderly growth and results in an integrated system of public and private stormwater infrastructure. Minimize flood risk to citizens and properties. And stabilize or decrease stream bank and channel erosion on creeks, channels, and our streams. encourage more standardized, integrated land development process by bringing stormwater planning into the conceptual stages of land development. Our community leadership has fallen short of meeting these goals, and the results have impacted existing citizens, property, and well-being negatively. Whereas written evidence and commentary from our town's engineering firm, Haft and Associates, warned of problems and risks. And whereas leadership approved the development to move forward, this has contributed to the exposure of liability that is shared by a consulting firm, developer, builder, and unfortunately the township of Copper Canyon. As citizens, we depend upon our community leaders to make informed decisions on our behalf, which protect the community's interest as a whole. Whether the mistake is one of ignorance or of the matter at hand, or driven malfeasance or greed, matters not. The result is the same. What we seek is to work towards the proper balance between new developments and protection of existing citizens' properties and livelihood, because such
Would the council like to hear more than 3 minutes?
right here. Because such a erroneous wrong already resulted from past choices of our leadership have made. We should request an immediate halt on approvals of new developments, as well as requiring the revisiting of correction of the problems created by poor choices of the past. Last but not least, there needs to be changes made in the process which will prevent the type of problems for our community in the future. As an informed citizen, I am able to infer from documents I have obtained that there is at best an appearance of impropriety, and at worst, active malfeasance. I want to believe that this is a comedy of errors brought about by misunderstanding the subject matter. I really want to believe that. However, if certain members of leadership have colluded to serve their own purpose above the interest of the community, I sincerely hope that they will not continue to perform a disservice to our constituents. Your constituents, my bad. And bog down the process of healing our community by further engaging in attempts to camouflage the matters at hand. As of Friday, January 11th, 2019, I have received a multitude of documents which I am diligently and dutifully researching. As of today, I cannot say that the request for information has been fulfilled completely, as I might require to engage in further discovery as a result of conclusions I reach from forming my understanding and affirmation documents. I've got just 2 questions, real quick, for the board, please. Will the leadership acknowledge they are aware of the problem concerning flood and stormwater management? Show of hands, yes.
You can't respond, can you?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Will the leadership acknowledge the need to review and address existing flood, stormwater management problems, pausing other decisions regarding new development? Okay, thank you.
Can he leave his, what he read with the secretary, so it should be included in the text? Would you like to do that?
Actually, I can email them for sure. Absolutely.
Thank you. Ted Stranson and then Judy.
Members of the City Council, my name is Ted Strancic, 1020 North Ferry report. I'd like to talk about one citizen's comments on the pro forma presented by Mr. Hill and approved by all of you last month. It might take a little more than 3 minutes, and I would appreciate your indulgence. It's unfortunate that Steve isn't here, but the co-authors are. And in a real world, a man's work should basically speak for itself. And that's where I look at this pro forma and I find it to be bad. And that's a nice gentle word. Basically, in my business experiences of managing companies and buying and selling companies, performers are a pretty standard deal. There's good performance and there's bad performance. A good performer is one that realistically projects income and expenses. A bad performer is one that misrepresents those incomes or expenses, and they play a game called front-loading. And by that, if you want to make a performer really good, you front-load it with income and all types of sales items that, in the end, this company looks like it's minting money. On the other hand, you take a look at performers where they do nothing but front-load expenses, many of which can't be verified, don't have authorized any type of justification for income to support those expenses. That is where I feel this performer lies. I'd like to address scenario A, scenario B that was in that claim. Both are meaningless. They're nonsense. If this city does nothing, how can we, in 20 years, double our tax rate and incur millions of dollars in debt? Makes no sense. But that's what scenario A and B says. I'll go a little bit further. There is a scenario C. Mayor, you're aware of it. Jeff, you're aware of it. Last June, and I'll read from the city minutes of the council meeting. Mayor, you said, recently, Steve has begun a preliminary calculation and algorithms on our 20-year financial forecast. Our staff, Mayor Pro Tem, Jeff, and myself as mayor, have worked diligently to track down specific data Steve needs for his calculations. As a result, Steve currently believes that the construction of 400 homes in Copper Canyon with an average value of $600,000 over the next 20 years should be sufficient to cover the town's projected expenses. And then the mayor further states, this should be easily accomplished without commercial or high-density residential developments, thus preserving our beloved rural atmosphere.
Okay, quick question. What document were you quoting from?
The June minutes, city council meeting.
Thank you. June of this year, right?
June of 18. Yes, we haven't got to that point yet.
That's right. Thank you.
My question is, what happened to C? Where's it at? If I look at this performa, and I look at the numbers in the performa, I find that the expenses have been arbitrarily, and that's my word, expanded. The budget for 2019, for some reason, that you approved at the end of last year, was up $30,000 in expenses. Kind of unusual. The rest of the budget is front-loaded with road repair expenses. 2020, 2021, $5 million is spent in this pro forma. Jeff, where are you going to get $5 million? There isn't any. Yet the pro forma spends that money. It's against GAAP. form to get out saying they can spend money, or he can spend money, or you can spend money that isn't there. It's simply not there. But yet, in the pro forma, you spent it. You front-loaded those $5 million in expenses, and then you run to the horizon in red ink. That's not right. Period. But let's get to the road expenses. There's two sections. And by the way, a very good format. But when you overlay the road expenses or repairs with road construction, and you go down the columns, you find something very interesting. And I'll take Rolling Acres that I live off of and drive every day. For this year, there's a $12,000 allocation for pothole repair. I have provided the secretary with a picture of the only pothole on Rolling Acres. Now, I worked my way through college, and one of the ways I did that is I worked behind an asphalt truck plugging manhole cars, I should say pothole cars. I know advancements have been made over the decades for the location and filling in the potholes, but I don't fully understand why it takes $12,000 for Rolling Acres and one hole. But in the same year, you go to Jernigan, which I think all of us understand is a little bit rougher than Rolling Acres. But they're only allocated $10,000. So obviously their pothole must be smaller. While I may be facetious, these are facts in this particular document. But what gets even worse is 2 years from now, Rolling Acres is completely reconstructed for, in the neighborhood, $86,000. But when you go up to the repair column, you find an additional $17,000 for pothole repair. What is that? It doesn't make any sense at all. My question to you people is, has anybody read these documents and looked at these numbers? They don't make any sense. You know, you're good people. You really are. But you got to look at these numbers. They're wrong. They're misleading. They violate GAAP. Period. And why, in the end, Mayor, you said these numbers are decisive. Donna, you said very reliable projection. And Jeff, I remember you stating something to the effect at the meeting that I know numbers, I deal with numbers, these are good numbers. Really? That's not the way I see them. And that's not the way an auditor would see it. Which incidentally, Donna, is that document going to be presented to the audit committee for 2018?
The auditor goes over the books for the financials for that year. They don't deal with projections.
Those projections brought $1 billion development to this city that should be reviewed by that auditing committee. Period. When I look at your actions, the entire city council, the majority of the P&Z, I find a serious lack of due diligence surrounding an overly positive acceptance of a highly questionable document, which I would say very fairly isn't worth the paper it's written on. And I defy anybody that wants to challenge those numbers, because I'll be glad to sit down with you and go over them. I've done this more than once. The problem also is that the chorus, the Hallelujah chorus, led by the mayor, praising Steve for his great work. And this document was then used as the primary basis for the approval of the Toll Brothers project. There's no validity in this document. There's no justification in this document, yet it was used. The city's going to be in dire need. We've got to do this. The city may be in dire need, but this document doesn't support any of those projections whatsoever. It's grossly incorrect. I'm asking the city to rescind this document, to correct it, so that it accurately reflects the true financial status of this great town. And as far as this road repair deal goes, I don't know what to say about that. It's a mess. A neutral company needs to come out, look at that, assess it. And then, one of the things that's happening in these meetings is you throw out a 5-pound box of paper and you give a guy 15 minutes to review it, 3 minutes to talk about it, and then you throw it up for a vote. For presentations of this complexity, there should be a formal presentation by one of you, going over the positive, the negative of that particular item, whatever it is. And the bottom line is, it's only fair to let the people know. They don't know everything that's going on, nor should they. But you people should be responsible to let other people know the ins and outs. And we got an awful lot of ins and outs to face here in the not-too-distant future with the Dole brothers. And that's a different story. Now, I kind of let the cat out of the bag here, so to speak. Mr. Walsh, I think that there's an item on the agenda in the consent section that deals with ordinance 19-003. And I'd like an opinion from you whether that item should stay in the consent column or be approved. And quite frankly, why? But I think there needs to be a formal address to that particular item. Guys, I don't like standing up here making negative comments. That's not my personality. But when I see stuff like this, I gotta say something. You guys need to be looking at this stuff. When I do acquisitions, I read everything. Maybe nonsensical, but that's the only way you can stay informed and be ready for what the hell may or may not happen. A lot more of that needs to happen here. We're not addressing our fiduciary responsibilities in the proper fashion. All I'll say is I'll be back and talk more about this and other things in the future. I appreciate your indulgence in allowing me to run over my time. And I thank you all very much.
Judy Stransky.
I will waive my time since Ted was able to get time.
Nancy Henry.
Same, because everything he said, I was going to talk about.
Okay. Robin Douglas Davis.
I'm good.
And Peter Vickery.
My name is Peter Vickery. I live at 799 Manchester Road. A couple of things. The projections of the expenses for the city in the pro forma for the next 20 years. I just want to remind everybody that was created by a man who worked for a Big 8 accounting firm. He not only works for them, he pretty much runs the Dallas end of it and travels all over the world consulting for governments and businesses and stuff. He does this professionally. and people holding accountable to any business ends. The second thing that I would like to point out is you mentioned that the council had brought a $1 billion project to the area. I don't know where you're getting that figure, but it would be well under $200 million. So the next thing is, a few months ago, I did a little investigating on my own, and the cost of concrete back 3-4 years ago when the city took on the debt of the bond, that was in order to help pay for roads that the city was going to participate with the county on. The cost of concrete since that time has come close to quadrupling. So if you want to take into account the increasing cost of construction, maintaining roads and stuff, those are some things that you have to take into account and go forward 20 years from now. Who knows what it's going to be? It's not going to be less, I'm sure of that, or I'm reasonably sure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Peter. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak at public input? Michael Kennedy. Michael, you signed up to speak?
It's on something totally separate than that.
I'm sorry, Will?
It's on a different issue.
It's public input.
All right. Hello, Michael Kennedy, 1081 Post Oak Road. Just heard y'all were talking about the siding issue and how to go about it, and I kind of thought through it. And a suggestion that I would make is maybe not redoing your masonry percentage, keep that where it's at, but maybe let some of the species of hardy, the cementous siding, be a alternate material. That and maybe stained wood. Both cost more than brick to install, so they're not great at homeowners. And I think just in the spirit of country farmhouses, modern farmhouses, modern hill country, I'd like to allow, some species of reputable, nice, tasteful siding to be allowed, I think maybe with the town's, country feel and rustic and, what y'all strive to keep, I do see siding maybe having a place, maybe lower pitch roofs. So that's my input.
I have a quick question for you, just for clarification. You said hold on the same percentage of masonry, but add stained wood in the cement siding. Stained wood, you mean like the siding that's cement that looks like wood, you didn't mean stained wood, right?
No, we do some homes. I've done homes in Tour 18 that are $2 million, and they have stained wood siding on the outside.
So you meant literally wood?
Yeah.
All right, I just was writing the thing about
And
masonry.
that's a 3/4 inch tongue and groove natural wood product. And I'm not talking about 4x8 sheets of hardy siding that guys use to cut costs. I'm talking about, like staggered edge hardy, which costs about, $8 a foot for materials, and brick turnkey is $550 a square foot installed. So, these people are spending double to have that look. It's the spirit of the design of the home. And, it is country, it is rural. I mean, it is a look that I think is well suited for a town. And it lasts just as long as brick, and it holds paint way, way, way better than any masonite product.
Excuse me, thanks for the clarification.
Anybody else who would like to speak at public input? Number 3, staff, mayor, and council reports on items of community interest. Does anybody have any?
So Donna, just for the record, if we could, on the police report, if we could look into those 2 items that I called out. So the deadly conduct and the terrorist attack, I believe I know where it is, but I just would like to get confirmation of that. Okay. I don't have anything else.
We do have one announcement. Mike, would you like to announce the retirement of your town secretary?
Sure.
Double Oak. She has been there how many years?
Mike Donnelly, 302 East Carew Lane, Double Oak, the mayor for the town of Double Oak. So today, our town secretary sent out an announcement, Charlotte Allen, after 17 years, almost 17 years of service, she's going to retire February 1st. Donna, Sheila, the mayor, Jeff, many others know Charlotte, and she's a great, terrific lady. Actually used to work here in Copper Canyon, I think, prior to Double Oak, I believe. So, very, very nice lady, and if y'all get a chance, send her a note. She's giddy about this, a little apprehensive, but she's very excited about the retirement. So, thank you. Thank you.
Our number 4, staff reports, the Denton County Sheriff's Office report.
And I'm sorry, because I was out of order.
That's all right.
So, ditto for what I just said, only under the rate column number, so.
Anybody else have a question on the sheriff's report? All right, town administrator, anybody have a question on road repairs, drainage, events, Toll Brothers Development, Finance, Municipal Court audit? Donna, was this a sample of Judge Knapp's? It's for defensive driving.
That's for court. Yeah, he left it there.
Oh, you left it?
Yeah, he left
Okay.
it there. And I did want to report on one thing on the road repairs. It'll be on in February because, excuse me, of the weather and some things that have changed with the road repairs. We're going to be crack sealing and filling on Jernigan, Blackjack, Pilot Lane, Mill Road, Estates, and Rolling Acres. We're going to have a full depth asphalt repair on Jernigan Road, a portion of Jernigan Road, Copper Canyon, and Rolling Acres. Due to the weather and all the rain and everything, we've had some issues. We've had to add some things to that bid, so that's the reason it's coming back. And then we have that partial concrete panel replacement on Copper Canyon Road near 1020. It's a full panel replacement. So that'll come to the council in February.
So what about, I realize that we're getting Chin Chapel redone, but the north side of Chin Chapel where it's still asphalt, are we doing any crack sealing on there? Because there's some major ones along about, it's after Estates about 500 feet.
No, we're they're almost ready to go out for bids.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna go pretty fast.
Okay, because those are getting pretty wide.
No, the county, we're almost ready to go to bids for
Okay.
that. Okay.
No, bids for the redoing, but I'm saying repair in the meantime, because it's going to be 2 years. 2 years.
No, we hope to have it finished this spring.
Okay, so that's another.
In conference.
I missed the last meeting, so really?
Yes.
God bless you.
There you go.
Good.
All right, I missed one on the last deal. Copper Canyon started 8 years ago, what we call the Denton County Mayor's Crime Luncheon. And we used to have it in here, and we invited all the mayors in Denton County, of every town, all their police chiefs, all the commissioners' court, the sheriff and his deputies. And we filled this room wall to wall, literally. The chiefs and the deputies and the mayors were all just like this. But they loved it because there was a lot of camaraderie. And 2 of the police chiefs come from Tarrant County, Cancel out of Flower Mound and Chief Rhyme out of Highland Village. And they said, no way in Tarrant County could we invite all the mayors, police chiefs, commissioners' court, and deputies and sheriffs in one room and it would be congenial. And it was congenial. We got CoServe to start funding. We did have hostesses cooking and everything here, literally Copper Canyon hostesses. That CoServe started to fund it for us, and it has grown every year. Bill Castleman has helped us get FBI, some speakers from different law enforcement, major law enforcement groups in Dallas and in Dallas County. We will have almost 100 people tomorrow at Briarwood, the retreat over off of Copper Canyon Road. It has become so popular, and Bill again arranged for the speaker, who is the lieutenant for the City of Denton's Police Department. He's head of their SWAT. And his topic is active shooters are you a soft target? And then he lists things like council chambers, commissioner's court, the municipal courts, the ladies behind the glass in the entry that take the payments. That's not bulletproof glass by any means. So Bill is looking, and we're all looking at how we can make it safer with maybe cameras inside, cameras outside, more lights outside, getting some kind of protection for the ladies behind the glass in the entry there. And this is a subject, you know, first we've had the active shooters in schools, now churches, and now evidently they're looking at town halls and things like that. So this will be a packed house again, 100 people over at Briarwood. It's great publicity for Briarwood and our Copper Canyon to get other people to come for other events. And then our second speaker is our new county judge who was here last time that we thanked for the $3,010,000 to finish Chin Chapel. And he will be speaking on the Denton County Commissioners Court, their goals for 2019. And two of the subjects they're going to tackle are the homeless teens in Denton County. And we have them, and they don't want to be known. They don't want their peers to know they're homeless or maybe don't have food on the weekend. And also human trafficking in Denton County, which we also have. So you'll probably see a write-up of that in the What's Happening next month. And Bill, I want to thank you for all the work you've done. Huge. And Donna has sent out the invitations by email. And we had saved our name tags from every year, so we only have to add a few name tags every year. So, but anyway, that will be quite an event tomorrow.
Tomorrow or Wednesday?
Wednesday, sorry. Any other questions on staff reports? Okay. On consent, I have one thing on the bills to be paid. I think you listed our gift to Commissioner Eads under training, and I think it'd be under special events. And look on page 3, the next to the last paragraph of Eads, it ends with a comma. And I think what should have been on there is he has arranged for all the towns on 407 who are going to plant that central median, and TxDOT will do the preparation, the planning, and lay in the sprinkler system. And he's made arrangements for the county to pay for every town's estimated cost for water maintenance for the next 10 years. So it won't be an expense to us for 10 years, and after that, yes it will. So I think it should have added for the first 10 years, because he always says that. Council, do you want any other changes to the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Jeff Mangum to approve the consent agenda as presented with those corrections.
Yeah, with corrections as noted.
Second?
Second.
Second, Bill Castleman. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimous vote. All right, workshop discussion items. Discuss the town's hardy plank and masonry requirements. And you have the sheet that Terry researched on local towns around here. They have different requirements. Some of them approve it, some do not.
Terry, would we be able to, make the verbiage something like, you have our definition of masonry, and the minimum is 80% on single-family homes. So say, the exterior facade would be, whatever our limit is, comprised of 80% masonry or an otherwise acceptable material, and then define what otherwise acceptable material would be, wood siding or hardy plank.
That's part of 80% and part of 20%.
80.
Part of 80. I mean, whatever we put in there, we just have to define what it is. Correct. What material would it be?
I kind of look at it in a couple of things. One, if you look at subdivisions that have deed restrictions, that have material that's listed in it, they're going to have, based off of what was originally presented on any particular subdivision, you're going to have a list of materials for a house. And those are going to be accepted, and everybody in those neighborhoods probably are well aware of what was, what's in deed restriction at the time of the purchase of the lot, or the time of purchase of the house. And then you've got areas where there are no deed restrictions. And I know the Woodlands have a deed restrictions, but I'm not sure if they're enforced. I don't know if there's any deed restrictions in June Chapel North.
We do.
And of others, so I can see that if you have a subdivision that has certain definitions of what they want in there, such as, and I think, and they list those acceptable materials, I don't think it's, that's okay. I would be more concerned in areas where you have subdivisions where you don't have any restrictions, but you've got most of the houses are, if you look at most of the houses in the Woodlands and Chinchapa North are of a masonry construction. So I can see that you possibly have some issues if we were to change the overall building materials and allow such as cement fiberboard or the stained, the stained wood. If we were talking about an area where everything else is of one construction, but then somebody comes in and builds something that's totally different. That would be my more concern than allowing the deed restrictions to work for that particular neighborhood, whatever the deed restrictions were, when they wrote it. But I don't know how we can do that.
Just for your information, this research that Terry did, the towns that allow, include into masonry, fiber cement siding, which I believe is more or less what we call hardy plank for a shortcut, are Little Elm, Argyle, and Saxe. And Prosper does it, but only for accessory structures only. And then you have Highland Village, Flower Mound, and Corinth do not. So we've got it both ways all around us. So.
Well, I know there are multiple towns that do, just from being a realtor and selling homes, I see it, I don't want to say every town, but it seems like by and large, most towns are allowing some sort of allowance. I don't know, Terry, if it's because the neighborhoods come in as a PD, and so then they don't have to follow the ordinance on exterior materials, or what exactly happens, but there's multiple construction, high-end neighborhoods that allow the craftsman style, the farmhouse style, hill country, modern hill country, transitional, and all kinds of other styles. And they all utilize in some way, maybe the whole front elevation is not wood siding, but it may be some stucco, some stone, some wood siding, or like on a farmhouse, usually it is all hardy on the front and sometimes on the sides. Sometimes it will be, we have one in our town right on Chin Chapel. As you leave Town Hall and head north on Chin Chapel, there's a farmhouse, brand new construction that David Andrews, Century Custom Homes, just did. That it's well, that's what is said. That when you look at it, I don't really know if the math. I mean, when you look at it visually, I don't know how it could be 80%. I mean, maybe it is, but I'm just saying if you look at the front facade and even on the side, you'll see what it looks like. And then as you continue up Chin Chapel, I don't drive that road very often, but the other day when I was driving it, I noticed that house. And then when you look on the left as you drive up all Chin Chapel, I would say half, maybe more, of the homes on Chin Chapel are all some type of a siding look. So it's not that we don't have this in our town. There was some point in time where we changed our ordinances to not allow a siding look, which essentially means you can't have a country house, you can't have a Victorian house, you can't have, I went through it the last time we met on this, you know, probably 10 or 15 or 20 different styles of home without allowing some type of, a large portion of a siding look material in there.
The home that's north of the railroad tracks on Chin Chapel, if you look at the side walls, they're brick and they're painted white. They're not siding.
Part of
Just
it.
ask a question. Why are we even taking this up? If you want to change it, come to P&Z and ask for variance. I have to.
Well, we
Like,
can't,
why are we just changing ordinances for people?
well, we can't, right, Dave?
We can't approve a change for a masonry work. Legally, it would be very difficult to change the masonry requirements, because to get a variance, you have to show some undue hardship on the property, and a choice of a exterior material would not be an undue hardship. That's a personal preference.
We already considered that one.
So who wants to change this? I mean, like, where did this come from? This impetus to...
I had an example. I did. I had a homeowner.
One homeowner,
No, we had another homeowner in town as well.
so two.
Did you say?
Yeah, considering we maybe get 6 new houses a year, so 2. And that is the trend that's going forward, is there's a big push towards these style of homes, and you can't recreate that style with any other materials. And it's not just here, it's all over, not even just in our Metroplex, but all over the U.S. And even Toll Brothers said in their meeting that we have with them that they also are designing farmhouse elevations for all of their floor plans because it is an up-and-coming trend.
How many farmhouses are going on the property?
How many per property?
Yeah, how many farmhouses are you talking about building that have so much of this siding?
It's not limited. Your ordinances have to approve appeals.
Camp farmhouse.
Everyone.
One example of an
Well, I
architectural
understand.
style.
I'm asking
that
how
you-
many, if you're pushing for this, how many of those type homes are gonna be on your property? What are you trying to, you're negotiating this, you're trying to convince people of this. Where's this going? How many of those homes are gonna be on that said property?
It's determined by whoever is building the home and whatever style they want to build.
Okay, so
So it gives them
you do have farmhouses available on the website for sale in examples, right? That you're building? that
No,
you're proposing to
I'll
build?
give you my example.
Okay.
New fellow townmates to y'all, they're gonna be your neighbors. They bought a lot here in Copper Canyon, and they desired a specific style. They're gonna spend $1.5 million in their house, and they designed their house, and it came through building permits, and it was denied because it had Hardy 2 siding on it. So they were using a finish because the lady wanted it, and her house that she's paying for on her property in a gated community, behind gates, private roads, was told no, she can't spend double what she would spend on brick to get that look that she's been wanting her whole life.
Oh,
So,
wow. I came down here and asked
Well,
3 times.
that's the rules
about
everybody
noise.
has to follow, though. That's where we're kind of at here.
but you want country,
I don't
you want
care.
rules,
I have
you
to
want,
pay for
I mean,
stuff.
you know,
I'm going right
Excuse me.
now.
Okay.
This is not open for discussion. This is a workshop that we're having right here. You all can talk privately if you want to, if you have issues with it. But this is really a workshop for us to decide what we're going to do, which is allow it, not allow it, stick with what we've got, or change it.
Actually, we're not deciding tonight. This is just a workshop.
yeah, so I'll bring that resident in next time. And then you guys can be that way to him because he's in your town, you know, he's done
Yeah,
nothing to y'all.
Michael,
He just wants to spend his
please
money
stop.
when he wants to spend his
Please
money.
stop. Thank you.
I think you
All right.
guys should be more
Council?
worried about your
That's
issues
it.
and your
That's it.
stormwater.
That's it.
Council, does anybody else have a
Stop.
comment, suggestion? Council?
The only other thing that we might consider is, one thing that Michael had suggested setting up was that we roll into the 85% requirement on masonry. And because you could technically, and this I would like to get input on from what you guys think too, because I know that that siding can also look like wood siding, you could technically put that up on the entire house and it would look, it would be like, it would not look at any masonry. It wouldn't look like it has masonry on the outside. It would look completely, like it could be a completely planked house on either edge. So I'm wondering if we consider that in addition to the masonry, we break out a section that says but 15% of it or 20% of it could be hardy board or what have you, so that we still have the stone brick sort of look and we maintain the overall look that we currently have in the town over the last 40 some odd years. Just an idea, so.
Well, that was my point, is that this masonry requirement wasn't always there with our town. This was a recent thing that was adopted, because like I said, if you drive up Chin Chapel Road, we have multiple homes that are siding. So this is not some new concept that I'm bringing to the town, that we, in a rural area, we would have some homes that had siding on them.
Jeff, do you know when that, or Mayor, do you guys remember any of this?
And some of that was before the town was incorporated and the houses were already there.
Okay. Because I don't recall, in all the years prior to me being on the council, and even now, I don't recall ever talking about
When
this.
did we adopt the 80%, Terry?
I believe that was in the original zoning ordinance.
So going all the way back.
Yeah, we've had discussions other times about Martin Place, if I
Yeah.
recall.
We definitely have talked about this.
I don't believe that there was an ordinance amendment that came out of it. I
No.
remember we had a couple.
At the time, it wasn't all that popular, and now I think it's grown in popularity. I do recall discussing it. Back then, we were saying, no, we want the stone and the brick, but that was years ago, and now it's become more.
Well, I just think what's happened in construction and what I see in the luxury side of things is that as all the tract builders have done brick and stone, the custom builders have tried to differentiate the custom houses from just plain brick and plain stone. So by doing that, they incorporate other materials to give it a more custom look. So you're starting to see, you know, wood stained siding, and it's not done in a way that, you know, looks like.
I think you're also seeing much more masonry. You look at some of the houses and in the peak, you're not using any, you know, wood. It's all brick all the way up to the peak. Especially in some of the more expensive homes.
Absolutely custom. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I would just say like to consider like or otherwise approved material, and if we don't want to go with maybe 80% like the same as the masonry requirement, maybe say 50% so that they could do it to get the style that they want, but still keep whatever other large large portion or equal portion of the masonry.
50% of the masonry look, or 50% of the stone and then masonry on top of that?
Oh, she's
Then it
saying
would say
50% hard
alternate.
plank and 50%
Well, just that it would,
masonry
that it would
mixed
say,
together, half and half.
well, just that it would say 80, that there would be an 80% masonry requirement and/or an otherwise approved material to include wood siding or hardy plank not to exceed 50% of the exterior facade. So that they could have that flexibility to use it, but, you know, it wouldn't be as much as 80%. It could only be a maximum of maybe 50%.
Terry recommended the last time that we not take a look at otherwise approved material because it's so generic.
Well, no, we would define that. So it would say otherwise approved material as wood siding or hardy plank on a staggered, whatever he said, like a siding application and not the,
Yeah, we would
4 by
have
8
to have
sheet.
a listing of what's an approved.
Yeah, we wouldn't leave it open-ended to where they have to come to us to vote.
That's anybody's.
Well, I think you have a double-edged sword here. You're approving something like hardy plank that can be used in maybe a development that's all masonry. And then you have that one house that's hardy plank. And all of a sudden you have a neighborhood that is not coherent. Or you have 3 houses that's hardy plank and the rest are masonry. Or you have all masonry and one completely brick or masonry. So to me it's a double-edged sword. I don't know where it's approved because where we should go with this, because if you've already got siding up, that's grandfathered in. We're not going to request changes, and if they need to change it out because it's weathering, that's a whole other subject, and they ought to be allowed to do that. But for new developments, I would think it would depend on the builder and what they're going to do. And to me, that's a P&Z issue.
It's not, because it's in our ordinance, and that's part of the issue, is that on the new developments, they have no flexibility, no latitude, because of the way our ordinance are designed.
Well, we're talking about changing the ordinances. So we're talking about changing, so you could change it, you can make the changes you want, but it would be a P&Z issue depending on the development. And if we had somebody that came in here and wanted a development of all hardy plank, you know.
Well, if we do an ordinance amendment, it has to go to P&Z and council first.
Yeah.
But right now, if someone came with an all hardy plank, I mean, P&Z would be obligated to deny that.
Under our current
Under
ordinance.
our current ordinance, yeah, we have to amend the ordinance. And I think the purpose of tonight was that it gives them some direction of if we want to amend it, and if so, how, and then go through, and we have 6, 7, 8, 9 other places in our ordinance to make sure they're consistent. Yeah.
That would be my recommendation for P&Z and for us to discuss at our next meeting would be leave the masonry definition as it is, include an otherwise approved building material, define what that is, to say wood siding or hardy plank, and then not to exceed what we're comfortable with as the percentage. So it sounds like from our discussion, 80% is not an acceptable number. I'm proposing maybe 50%, or maybe it's 40% or something.
Okay.
Or 90%.
All right, we'll take this up again at the next meeting. Anybody have anything else they want to say?
Well, do we need to give Terry something so he can present to us to vote on and discuss further?
Let me just dial back for a second to the question I had before is, so one proposal A would be stick with the 85% existing masonry added to the definition more or less. I'm just sort of summarizing. Option B is that perhaps we consider another percentage of the amount of masonry siding so that we don't lose it completely and it doesn't look, you know, that's a second option. What would P&Z recommend on, should we consider a second option in the second percentage, maybe take out the 80%? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe the 20%, or we lower the 80% and we consider assigning a percentage to the masonry siding or masonry addition. Is that worth considering or not?
I think that's pretty much what I said.
No, you're talking about putting it as part of the main masonry definition. I'm saying make it a smaller.
I'm just saying if it
percentage.
doesn't exceed 50%, then that would leave the other 50 for masonry.
Why don't we let P and Z have an input in this before
I'm
we
trying
ask
to
Terry
put
to
two
do
proposals
anything?
up. Yeah, two proposals.
And that's why the concern, if you have a new subdivision coming in, and they have deed restrictions, and they have a list of acceptable materials, everybody in that neighborhood knows what those materials are when they buy a piece of property. But, you know, if we modify our ordinances as, as a general category, if someone was to rebuild a house in the Woodlands, and you've got everybody in there is primarily masonry, and then you have somebody who revise this ordinance to allow, say, 100% parking lot.
Yeah.
Just an example, then you've got one house in there that's gonna look like that, in an existing neighborhood that may or may not have deed restrictions, may or may not have deed restrictions that are even enforced. And that's more of my concern versus the brand new subdivision. You know, I know that style is used. I know Lantana's got a whole subdivision that was built over there that is nothing but siding, that is not masonry. So they built a whole subdivision of those, of houses that look like that. My concern more is when you're adding a house into an existing neighborhood or existing area. Now,
So-
if you're on, you have a 10-acre, you're in an R5 area, and you want to have more latitude to be able to do that, I mean, that's a very large piece of property where you have very low density. Somebody may want to be, not have a brick house on that and have a farmhouse.
Well, the Thorpes were even, what they were proposing to build wasn't going to fall within our masonry requirements.
Right, I understand.
Yeah, so I'm just saying it's not specific to one house, one community. It is,
But I think the point is it could be, and I always point to the very nearby community where there's a whole bunch of Georgian homes, and somebody decided to put what do you call them, the modern homes with the slant roof. There's one house in that neighborhood of nearly 1,000 Georgian homes, and it sticks out like bigger than daylight. So I get your point, and that is if you do have something like the Woodlands, it could, and we allow this generically, you could start having the eyeball things pop up. Now, the counterpoint to something Valerie said earlier when we were talking about the Thorpes property and the 2% angle on the roof and all that, is do we want to start restricting too much? You know, do we want to like be so specific? And isn't that the freedom that people want to blah, blah, blah? But I think there's a counterbalance. It's like if you've got, I hate to say it, but it's almost like if you've got the property and you've got the distance, you're not going to have the negative influence that something like that would have.
They were on 8 acres.
Sorry?
They were on 8 acres way off the road.
Yeah, totally. And so that made sense. But if you're in a neighborhood, like in the nearby community, where there's a bunch of Georgian homes, and then suddenly there's this, I wish I could think of the name, what do you call them modern house? They're real super modern ones. Contemporary. Thank you. Contemporary. It's a super contemporary home in a pile of Georgian homes, and it just looks very odd. And that looks like a zoning issue, in my opinion. So that I think we want to prevent, right, to your point. Not trying to split the middle here, but I get your point. And I also get Valerie's about being a little more flexible.
well, in all the areas where you see homes that are being torn down, the homes that go back often are all kinds of different styles.
Can
Yeah, and that's just part of gentrification in real estate. I mean, it's just what happens. But in Argyle's language that they also had something in here that said, unless specifically approved by the zoning board of adjustments as a special exception, blah, blah, blah. So, like right now, we don't have any process lined out that would give someone to go if they wanted to have a special exception. So, I mean, I know we can also do our ordinance where it could apply to R2, R5, R10, and it doesn't apply to R1. But that still isn't going to change some of the projects that are wanting to go in Copper Creek, and it's still not potentially going to change the Toll Brothers, because they're both not going to fit into R2, 5, and 10. So,
Well, if we're going to have exception process, the only thing is we have to have standards for the exception. That's my only concern, is that, because otherwise the exception kind of swallows up the rule if everybody comes in for an exception. So whether it's P&Z and council, well, P&Z and council approving an exception, would have to have criteria for granting an exception. That's my only concern. And whether that's an acreage provision, whether that's a zoning classification or whatever, I mean, I can see where you can have allowing perhaps greater flexibility on larger lots. I mean, that makes sense. That's not quite as like your exception with the Georgia homes. I mean, we can draft it however you want. However we draft it, I would just suggest we make it clear that we know what the criteria are in granting an exception versus I like it or I don't like it.
so if we did R2, R5, R10 in Copper Creek and Town Center, so what would it say? Everything except for R1?
Well, if we're going to put it, I mean, yeah, that would be every different classification other than R1.
Yeah. So maybe that's something we consider.
So we would essentially keep
If
everything,
your concern is the woodlands and the 1 acre.
so we keep everything the same, and then if we have an exception, we go through the process, right?
No, it would be redefining it for 2, 5, 10, and.
Right, but I mean, for the ones,
Yeah, 1 would just
Yeah.
stay as written.
right?
I think that would be.
Well, there
That
are
makes
two
sense.
things with Vickery Park. We could put that in when we go through the development standards. That could be in the ordinance. So we're kind of working on that now. That would be one exception. On Copper Creek, we have to put it in the development agreement.
So PDs will just go in their developer agreement.
Yeah, and the development standards.
Okay.
The development standards.
One other quick question on Jeff's point earlier about the restrictions. Like, my understanding is, if I recall your counsel in the past, is that the ordinance overrides is the primary before deed restriction, right? Assuming that the ordinance was placed.
The town cannot enforce deed restrictions. So
Correct.
we have general standards, and what you normally will find is that deed restrictions are more restrictive than the
Right.
ordinances. And so we can't enforce the deed restrictions.
But it can't be more loose than our ordinance, is what I'm saying. The
No.
deed restrictions. Right, that's, I just want to make sure that our ordinance holds up before the deed restriction in the case that they water it down.
Well, the deed restrictions are what they are, and we can't, those are private contracts, and we just don't have any say on those. So they can be whatever they are.
What if they violate our ordinance, they go against the ordinance that's newly passed? I realize going retroactive can't be, but let's say that we pass an ordinance and then a new neighborhood's built and they exceed our ordinance, that can't happen.
Well, what would happen is, again, if someone came in, I mean, let's take like a ludicrous example. The deed restrictions say it can only be made out of
All wood or something.
all wood.
Firewood.
Or
Right.
All metal.
tin. Yeah, something like that, and that would violate our ordinance. What would happen is, we would not issue a building permit.
Okay, number 2, discussion and briefing on flooding and drainage issues in the Range Road, Copper Canyon Road area, and report on the status of follow-up to address such flooding and drainage issues.
So,
Well, we didn't ever decide what we were going to do.
so what are we gonna,
Wait, one.
I think since we probably don't have a total consensus here, I think probably we ought to take more input from P&Z.
Yes.
And, because this is, I don't think we're gonna come up with a solution, I don't know that there's a pressing issue that we have to come up with a solution right now. I think we ought to take our time, evaluate pros and cons, what the consequences are, and get further discussion back from P&Z, go forward with that.
Do we need to give P&Z anything to consider? Because we talked about it with them previously, and they saw the facades of the homes, and they saw what Argyle had,
I don't think we're ready to order anything in writing yet.
No, I don't think so.
Agree.
Okay. Now, item 2.
But can we proceed forward with the notes documenting the 2 proposals that we put down, so at least we advance the ball a little bit, right, for them to consider, that's all.
Let me write it. I'm going to read item 2 again. Discussion and briefing on flooding and drainage issues in the Range Road, Copper Canyon Road area, and report on the status of follow-up to address such flooding and drainage issues. Donna?
Can I request an executive session to consult with the attorney?
Yeah, there's some legal issues I'd like to address with y'all in closed session if I could.
Okay. Jeff?
Motion to move to
So do
executive
we need
session.
to move that into the executive session, that item?
We
Yes.
can either discuss number 2, closed session, and come back out. If we want to read and go into the executive session on the other items and do all in one fell swoop, we can do that as well. Whatever council's pleasure is.
I think let's do it all one fell swoop.
All right, so shall we move this item 2 down to the executive session then?
Well, it's just that we just need to read the executive session item as well. We're getting legal advice on number 2.
All right.
We'll come back to open session, do whatever we want to do on that, and then the executive session. So item 8.
All right, item 8, executive session. The town council will convene into a closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, including but not limited to sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.076, and 551.087 to discuss matters relating to consultation with town attorney pending or anticipated litigation, real property, personnel, security devices, and audits, and economic development negotiations as follows. Number 1, discuss and consider security devices and audits and all matters incident or related thereto. Number 2, consultation with the town attorney regarding legal issues associated with Vickers Park development issues and all matters incident or related thereto. And number 6, part 2, discussion and briefing on flooding and drainage issues in the Range Road, Copper Canyon Road area, and report on the status of follow-up to address such flooding and drainage issues.
Do we need to move item 7?
And it's 8:15.
Discussion on future agenda item, kind of just close over that.
Well, I just will come back and do that, and I can do an executive session. Okay?
No, I didn't know if we needed to move it.
And it's 8:15 p.m.
Baby.